Hello and welcome to Morten's Corner. In this video we'll talk about how to qualify a recording for the UXP or the User Experience panel. So in the scope of today, we'll firstly talk a little bit about why you want to qualify a recording for UXP. Then we'll go through three different scenarios, one data-driven scenario, and then we have a navigation implementation, and then we have an issue with the user role selection. And then we'll talk a little bit about best practices and such, right? So to start us off, I've made these 4 recordings and I've put them in our user experience panel inside of CRM. And so in our first scenario, I want to go through a data-driven step, right? So let's just go home and go to accounts. And over here, I'm going to say I want to add a phone number to an account. So let me go ahead and click on this. And this will then highlight the process, as you know, and I just want to be helped, right? So I'll click on the assist and it'll then show me what to do. So I am going to click on accounts and my active accounts, all accounts. So this recording is super nice because it contains the whole navigation. I could basically start this from anywhere. As you saw in the example here, so the first thing it did was click on home, which is super cool because it contains the navigation, right? So now I've done my search, I clicked on next like it asked me to, and now the assist cannot find the record. And the reason the assist cannot find the record is because we have not adjusted the data prior to implementing it in the user experience panel. You can see that I've done all this. I'm down to here. I need to click on the link in the cell account name with the value of Morten store. You can see it right here. And the reason it's not being clicked, the assist cannot find it. So the reason is, I'll show you now. If we come into ClickLearn, and we look at the add phone number to account process that we've made. So we recorded the process, but we did not look at the data prior to throwing it in there, right? So if we go to, you can see when I recorded it, I picked an account here. Let's have a look at this. This is a step that fails, right? Let's have a look at that. So I'm gonna go here, click on the image editor, and you can see here the main phone number here is not specified, right? And that is why it fails. Have a look here in data. So in the data editor, it's being asked to click on the account in this, the account where the name cell has the value of Morten store, and that's it. Everything else should have the value of 0, right? But now this record does not exist. The only record that exists is one with that includes the phone number, so it does not match anymore. That's why before I would implement this, I have to make sure that the data is correct, right? So if this is my data I'm going to look for, I would probably tell them what I would recommend you do is, of course, if you're going to use this as a test scenario that people have to go through, you would have to remove the phone number in CRM, right? Remove it so that the test case works. If you're making a generic instruction, what I would do is that I would come in here in the written editor, come up here, and I would say, in here I would make a text box. Let's just go ahead and do it. Here, go ahead, and let's say do a specific search for the account you wish to modify. So, all right, great. So now I know people are going to use an extremely specific search, which will then only present one result, pretty much what I had here, right? Then I can go into the data editor, and I can then tell the data editor, hey, just pick the first available row. When I set the current row here, what ClickLearn will then do is that it will pick the first available row that it finds. This means, I'm just gonna close this, don't save, which means when I execute this step here, after this step, it's just gonna say, okay, pick the first one and then move on. So that's the data-driven scenario.
Basically, this means that the users can search for whatever they want. The assist will pick the first available result. The process will work with any entry that has a valid search result.
Now, I prepared another scenario for us, which is a navigation scenario. So let's go ahead and click on home, or actually let's click on accounts, that's fine. And let's bring up this one called adjust credit limit. So I'll execute this. And let's go ahead and click on assist. Now it's going to give me a warning. That's fine. That's part of a text block that I've made, a content block. So that's fine. That's kind of a disclaimer. We'll click on next. And now it cannot locate the item for details. Because do you see details here? I sure don't. It's not here. Now, this is a problem because if I start my process from deep within the process and then just start recording it at some random spot, the navigation is no longer there, right? You need the navigation, kind of like we had in the old recording. Including the navigation will ensure that executing the assist can be done from any place in CRM. It doesn't matter where you are, you can always execute the assist. So let's go ahead and look at the recording itself. Now, the recording itself, you can see it starts from a contact, right? So if I go to a contact and execute it, then it's fine. What I really need is just a click on home, a click on contacts, and then the search for the contacts for whom I wish to modify the credit limit, right? That's pretty much what I needed to add. So 3-4 additional steps and you're good to go. So that's definitely one thing you want to keep in mind before you subject your users to all your instructions. So the last scenario I have is going to be one of a role-based scenario, right? So let's go ahead and come down to accounts again. This time we're going to do a search, and I will search for create a service case. Now, I have a suggested work instruction here called create new service case. I'm going to attempt to execute it. I can see I need to click on the item cases. So let's try to run it. It will instantly fail because I am in the wrong app, right? I'm in the sales app and sales hub. I need the service hub, right? That's why it fails. Now, the way to fix this is, of course, to come into ClickLearn. And when you set up the user experience panel, you map it to user roles. Now, I don't want a service instruction, which I have here. Let me just open it up. I don't want to have a service instruction. I don't want that available to people in the sales area, of course. So I will remove it. And the way to do that is, of course, to use the segments which you have in here. So I would say, okay, I have some sales stuff, I have some service stuff. I would probably add segments here, map them up, and then, of course, link them to the correct roles in the configuration here, right? So I would come in here and I would do the segment mapping for the roles. That's how I could fix it. Now, you can learn more about configuring the UXP and setting up the roles and stuff. I can leave a link to a video up here, so you can check that out. So yeah, well, I hope you found this useful at least in terms of the scenario we went through. Really, it comes down to roles, navigation, and of course the data, right? The data can be learned if you have experience with replays, of course. If you don't, then I recommend you check out some of the modules we have on the universe. I also made a video on replay. I can leave a link for that up here as well. But the universe stuff is a little bit more up to date, so I recommend you check that out for now at least. Now, For best practice and takeaways, I'd like to discuss a little bit about this. So when you optimize your recordings for the user experience panel, we basically wrote like a best practice guide. And the first section reads, be mindful of system roles. If you recorded with a specific system role with specific access to your ERP system, that might be necessary to make end users aware of these requirements in the prerequisites text block in the beginning of your recording, or you map it out correctly, right? So you do the mapping like we just discussed, where you map the system roles. Assist content is a key to success. The contextual help relies on the assist content in your recordings. Assist content can be edited and customized to fill your needs in the Assist tab in the recording editor. So basically, you can do a lot of cool things with the Assist, and you want to keep that in mind when you stress test your recordings. I made a video up here about the Assist. I recommend you check that out. It also goes for UXP. So there's some really cool tips in that one. Basically, you will want to test the success of the Assist for each work instruction you push to end users. That goes both for the user experience panel, but also in general for the assistant. Test it out. You can just right click a recording and click on Studio and select Assist. That will then run through that process. Images are not supported in the Assist content. So images such as assets and process diagrams are not supported in the Assist content, and it won't be shown. Just keep that in mind. If you have a lot of stuff that you post for clarity in your Assist content, just keep in mind that it will not show when people run through the guide. Avoid multi-platform recordings or use text blocks. So the user experience panel at the moment do not support multi-platform recordings, so don't do it. Basically, that means it's if the process, for example, involves a non-supported platform, use a text block to indicate the required user action for those platforms. For example, you could say, now open Excel and open the downloaded spreadsheet. When you're done in Excel, continue here. And then you can use the flag for the assist called click next to continue, right? So you're kind of telling users to do something else. These steps by themselves being recorded are not supported, and it can brick your UXP configuration. If you put it in here, you might have issues, so don't do that. Check recorded sequence and data. Step sequence must be intact from process start to finish. Steps with data selections, such as tables, may require special attention. Tailor the data in the data editor, or exclude steps from the assist and replace them with text blocks with required instruction. If recording a process using search, use very specific criteria to allow this use current row, like we did in our example, or a specific number recording in the data editor in the following step. And like I just previously mentioned, test your assist experience. Test each process inside Attain, right-click the recording, select assist, or in the recording editor, you can right-click a step and say assist me from here if you wish to test from a specific set of your recording. And that specifically goes if you have, let's say you have like 150 step recording. I don't recommend going above something like that because it's hard to keep it all together as a user following all that. But anyway, let's say you had 150 step recording and you've been trying to amend it through the data editor and through means, whatever means you have to make it work well with the user so it's foolproof. And you want to test it from step number 70, right? You can just right click on that and say assist me from here. So you don't need to go all over every time. And yeah, basically do them one by one. When you're satisfied with the assist experience, you just move on to the next one. Make sure you quality check all recordings because you see the problem with end users is that if they testing this out for the first time and they try the assist out, if they accidentally use an assist that you did not quality check and make sure it works well, they might be discouraged from using it because it didn't give them the result they wanted, or the assist couldn't find the thing they were looking for, or they felt like, you know, they were just hitting a brick wall, right? So make sure it works before you subject it to end users, because yeah, they may be discouraged, right? You might be already trying to make them work in a different way, and This new way should of course be of great assistance and not hinder them, right? So prepare it well before you launch it for them. That's definitely what I can say. But yeah, thank you for watching this Morten's Corner video on how to qualify a recording for the user experience panel. I hope you found it helpful, and if you have any questions, comments, whatever, leave them on the community or reach out to us in support. And as always, have a wonderful day. Thank you.